Virgo kasi yung next meeting natin. So, wala pang quiz nun, no? And the quiz will be move on November 8 na, no? Okay? So, let me share my screen. Allow me to share my screen. So, last time, no, our discussion has something to do about the self, no, and this is referring to uh, what they call to unwrap the self, no. So that's why I mentioned that everyone's like a gift, no. Wherein as a gift we are wrapped, no, and the wrap it's some are tight and some are loosely, no, and as a gift, of course, what is with us, no, uh, of course, the wrap it's not something that is essential. What is essential? What's inside? No, and inside us we have what we call the material self. No, and of course our material self has something to do with the tangibles or any possession that we have. No, and of course in our discussion that this material self or this tangible became or become our extended self when this possession that we have are somehow no naging ano sila no we became emotionally or personally attached to this thing no so nagkakaroon sila ng psychological impact with us no and yun nga we call them as our extracorporeal or extended self no however this extended self also specific to the technology to the digital era that we have or to the yeah to your gadget. Now, this gadget or wherein we became hooked with them, and we turn them as our expression of ourselves. So, according kay Russell Belt, na this extended self that we have was now turned into our digital self, no? And of course, sabi nga ni Russell Belt, so because of this digital technology and the digital era, nag-come up siya ng changes, no? And among the changes that we have discussed a while ago or last meeting, yung something to do with dematerialization, no? Yung co-construction of self, no? And then yung about the shapes, yung sharing, and then yung distributed memory, and so on. Now, we're moving to another gift that we have, no? So I use the word gift, because I started our discussion with something to do with gift. And this is something to do with our sexual self. Of course, after the digital pala, we come up with the physical self, no? And the physical self pala is something to do with the human development, wherein this development that we have, we have different stages that wherein every stages there are changes, no? And we mentioned also about the body type of William Sheldon, and then the humorous or the liquid na minention yung temperament na sinabi naman ni Galen, no, together with Hippocrates, no. Okay. Now, what about the sexual self? So, probably familiar na kayo sa term na soji, laging pinag-uusapan yan, no. Soji is something to do with our sexual orientation, something to do with sexual orientation, and then yung gender identity natin, and something to do with gender expression or explanation. No? So, but before we will elaborate about sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, so we will come up first with what we call our sexual self. So, pag sinabi natin sexual self, so it's something to do with the gender-bread person. Ito naman, this is the concept of ano no si uh, Killer Man no parang ang pangit ng surname na no Killer Man no but that is surname no so every person no sabi niya no we are like a genderbread person no so we're in the person with regard to our sexual self of course meron tayo yung nga para soji no we have gender identity we have gender expression, ayan, no? So, our identity is something to do with in our mind. And then yung uh, sexual attraction natin, no? Or or orientation, something to do with the heart, and of course, yung biological, something to do with our sex, no? That's why it came up with gender identity. It's referring to our womanness and manness, and then gender expression being a feminine and masculine, and then yung biological sex natin, yung pagiging femaleness and maleness. So dalawa lang talaga no yung biological sex natin. And then of course, our sexual attraction, no, it can be something to do with, of course, yan nga no, so anybody or nobody can be ano no, either attracted to the following no, or yung romantic attraction natin, same thing, no. So first, what is this biological sex that we have, no? Pag sinabi nating biological sex in anyone, which of the following is the meaning of biological sex, or what is biological sex? So, anyone in the class would like to answer? Yes. Which one? Either is sure. So, among the choices, do you think which one is the biological sex? Yes, Andre.
Yung biological sex po, ito po yung physical evidence po ng gender ng isang tao po.
Yes, among the choices, which one?
Um,
Is it
First
A?
one po.
Okay. Letter
Okay.
A. Okay, let's see kung tama yung guess ni Andre. Yes, correct. So,
Tama.
as Andre mentioned, no, when we refer to our biological sex, tama si Andre, no? So, from the word biological, so this is our nature or innate, no? Now, as an innate, male and female are different in terms of their chromosome, kaya yung kanilang hormone, or even our anatomical characteristics, no? So, which can be regarded as female or male, no? Or somehow yung, although hindi na talaga in-encourage na gamitin to, no? So we have only, yung intersex kasi ginagamit yan if he has both, no? Meron siyang both this anatomical characteristic of being a female or a male, no? Yung intersex, no? Yun ang, or what we call the parang hermaphrodite. It's a different case, no? Pero of course, pag binigyan ka ng choice, male or female lang, no? So being a male and female, so it's a natural thing, no, or it's a nature, no. When we talk about the physical dimension of our identity as a male and female, it's a reality that we have differences, no. First, in terms of our chromosome, hindi talaga pareho. Pag lalaki ka, XY yung chromosome mo. Pag babae ka, X and X, di ba? Or XX. Now, in terms of our gonads, no, yung lalaki, meron siyang testes. Of course, yung babae, meron siyang ovaries. In terms of hormones, yung lalaki, tinatawag na androgens yung hormone niya. Sa babae is estrogens. Now, in terms of external genitalia, of course, alam na natin yan na they are also different. In terms of our internal accessories organ, same thing, hindi pa rin pareho, no? And then in terms of secondary sex characteristic, it's also different as well as our sexual orientation, no? Kaya yung iba kasi pag ano, of course, these are our sexes, no? There are only two, being male and female, unless yung nga nandun ka sa meron kang bot, kapag meron kang bot na ano characteristic ng pagiging male and female, meron tayong tinatawag na intersex, no? Or what we call the hermaphrodite or the okay. So continue. So biological sex, no, a while ago, yun nga, no, and we have what we call the intersex or what we call the hermaphrodite, no. So it's an umbrella term that referred to a variety of chromosomal, hormonal, and anatomical condition which a person does not seem to fit typical definitions of being female or a male. Kaya nga ito siya. Oh. No, ibig sabihin, may panlalaki siya at pambabae. Of course, in Greek mythology, siya ay si hermaphrodite. No? Yan, no? Yun ang tawag, yun ang Greek, something na may kasarian siya na both the male and female or what were the intersex. No? So that is a biological sex. Now, how about sexual orientation? Do you think which of the following is the meaning of sexual orientation? So wala na yung letter A, yung choices na lang B, C, D. Yes, anyone would like to guess? Ayun, si Enrelin. Yes, Miss Enrelin Princess, you are recognized.
Good morning po, sir. I
Good
think it's
morning.
D po.
Which letter?
Letter D, sir.
Okay, D. Tignan natin kung tama si Erilyn. Okay. So, baka maling pandinig ko, baka sinabi ni Erilyn D pala, no? Okay. So, when we talk about sexual orientation, so this is referring to our enduring emotional, romantic, it's somehow, ito yung gagawin natin para madali siyang tandaan, no? Sexual orientation has something to do with our sexual attraction, primarily or exclusively to people of a particular gender, no? So, pag sinabi natin sexual orientation, uh, this is referring to our sexual attraction, no? Yung attraction natin. So, that means, halimbawa, being a male, kung pag-uusapan yung norms or yung something conventional or traditional, pag male ka, you are attracted to female. So, on the other hand, ganun din, no? Kapag female ka, you are attracted to a male, no? So, that is conventional or traditional, no? Yun ang parang, or also something to do with our norms, no? Yun ang nakasanayan, nakagisnan. But, sexual attraction or orientation, sometimes others are attracted to the same sex, or sometimes they are attracted to both, no? Nauso yun, no? Yung bi, bi, no? Parang ganun, no? Parang yan, nauso, no? Now, sexual orientation, it can be either heterosexual or homosexual, no? So, heterosexuality, ito yung ano natin, no? You have an enduring emotional, romantic, or sexual attraction, primarily or exclusively to people of the different gender. Ito yung sinasabi natin parang what is something to do with our norms or something that to do with something conventional or traditional, no? So, yun nga, no, who are ano, no, identify as being straight. Okay? So, people who are heterosexual often identify as straight, no? Sinabi natin na kanina, no, kapag male, attracted siya sa female. Parang on the other hand naman, female attracted siya sa male. That is heterosexual, no? Now, in homosexuality naman, heterosexuality, homosexuality is also an enduring emotional, romantic, and sexual attraction, primarily or exclusively of people of the same gender, no? So people who are homosexual, no, often identify as being gay or a lesbian, no? Kumbaga, yung ano natin parang male to male. So this is homosexual, no, male to male, and then female to female in terms of biological sex, no? Of course, nangyayari yan, no? We cannot deny that, of course, hindi naman nila kasalanan kung bakit ganyan sila, no? Kaya we cannot condemn them or something, we cannot judge them kung being a gay or being a lesbian kasi uh, maybe this is their nature, no? Nagkataon lang sila yan, no? Ganyan sila. Okay? Kaya uh, hindi natin kailangan silang i-judge or something like that, no? Although the society now hindi na ganyan kabias, no? Unlike before, the society is biased with this kind of gender, no? Even psychology before, no? Kino-considered pag homosexual ka, you are it's a disorder before, no, but then later on inalis din siya sa tinatawag na ano, no, yung sa diagnostic manual for mental disorder, no, and of course that's DSM-3, inalis na rin siya, no. Okay, continue. Kaya sabi ko nga, hindi naman nila kasalanan yan, no, or hindi naman siya, actually hindi naman siya kasalanan, no. uh, and I could not say also that this is only in the mind, no. Ewan natin, no, o ito ba'y nasa isipan lang, no? Hindi, no, parang hindi rin, no. So talagang kumbaga, this is what they feel, this is what they think, no. Okay, to continue. Of course, kapag naman both, no, yung dalawang yan pinagsama mo, yung tinatawag natin bisexuality. So bisexuality, again, is an enduring emotional, romantic, or sexual attraction to people of more than one gender, no? So usually people who are bisexual often identify as bisexual. That means a person who is bisexual is both attracted to other gender or sexes of being male and a female, no? However, there are people who are no attraction, no at all. Tinatawag natin yun na asexuality. No? So, an enduring absence of sexual attraction, people who are asexual often identify as asexual. No? Okay? So, actually, yung word na A, no? Originally, nanggaling yung pag, ano natin yan, no? Pag-adapt, no? Originally, in the language, it's adapted or derived from the Greek, no? Greek language. Kasi sa Greek, pag linagyan mo na ng A, ibig sabihin no or not, no? Kaya nga, ano ba, yung word na theist, it's God, no? Theo. So, atheist means no God or doesn't believe in God, no? Same thing with, yan, no? Asexuality. Okay? Yan lang. FYI lang. Okay? So, before I continue, any clarification or questions?
Wala po.
For now, wala pa. Okay, thank you, Shara. Andre. Yes, Andre.
Ano kasi yung pakiulit po yung explanation sa sexual orientation po.
Come again, Andre.
Pakiulit po
Ah,
yung meaning po ng sexual orientation.
yung keyword lang doon, Andre, yung attraction, no?
Ah.
Sexual attraction. Kumbaga, kung kanino ka na-attract. So, kaya nga, there are different kind of sexual orientation, no? Yun nga, you are either heterosexuality, homosexuality, bisexuality, and then also yung sexuality. Meron pang isa niyan, yung pansexual, no? Yes, Andrew, Mr. Andrew Carlos, you are recognized.
Good morning po, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, tanong ko lang po kung meron pong specific example po sa asexuality po.
What do you mean specific example?
Parang, sige po, sir.
Yeah, there are people na parang they don't have attraction at all, no? Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin na, yeah, what I mean, wala siyang sexual attraction talaga. Kumbaga, of course, it's not abnormality, no? Hindi siya disorder or abnormality. Nagkataon lang na may tao, no, na hindi siya attracted to both sexes or to others, no? But it's not an abnormality or disorder. Kumbaga, kung gagamitin natin term na in love, hindi siya na-in love, no? Kahit kanino, no? Yun ang sexuality. Kaya
Okay po.
absence of sexual attraction. Okay?
Thank you po, sir.
Okay, welcome. Sige. Okay? So, kung merong asexual, meron naman pansexual, no? Ito yung not limited in sexual choice with regard to biological sex, gender, or gender identity. Ito, of course, being a male or female, attracted siya, or what kind of gender or gender identity meron siya. Ibig sabihin, pansexual is attracted to all, no? Being to female, to male, and of course, sama pa natin yung LGBTQ. LGBTQ+++, no? Okay? Yan, no? So, that means may ganito talaga, no? Of course, as I mentioned, this is not abnormality, no? Hindi siya classified as abnormality or or sexual disorder, no? So somehow it is accepted, no? It's accepted na meron talagang ganitong sexual orientation or attraction. Okay? So they just use orientation, no? Kumbaga parang norm siya, no? But it's not a norm, no? Although it started as a norm, kasi this everything naman na ano yung practices in a certain community or society, and then later on in-accept siya. So let's start siya as a norm, no? Okay? Moving on. So another question: which of the following is the meaning of gender identity, or what is gender identity? So napili na si letter A. So wala na si letter A, no? Ganyan lang yung nag-ano sa multiple choice, no, yung process of elimination. And then napili na rin si letter B. So do you think which of the two, no? It is C or D, gender identity. Anyone would like to guess which one is the gender identity? Okay, ay nauna si Princess yata, no? Yes, Princess. Princess.
Sir, letter D po.
Letter D. So, tignan natin kung tama
Papa.
ang guess ni Princess. Okay. Again, ang tamang sagot ay letter C. Okay. So, when we talk about gender identity, ang ganda ng guess, no? Siguro dinala ni ano sa concept na ito, one's gender, no? Yung this external display, no? So gender identity, it's referred to a person deeply felt internal and individual experience of gender which may or may not correspond with sex assigned birth. Ito yung ano, pag sinabi natin gender identity, it's not something to do for being a male or female. Dito na papasok ngayon yung tinatawag nating LGBTQ, no? Dito na sila papasok. Okay. LGBTQ, no? Alam niyo ba yung Q sa LGBT? Yes, yung nakataas. Shara, yes. What is Q in LGBT?
Queer po.
Queer. Pag queer ka, anong ibig sabihin ng queer? Any idea about being a queer? Queer. What's queer? Yes, Alessandra.
Good morning po, sir. Alam ko po dati yung queer, gay.
Okay, pwedeng gay. Yes. What else? Being a queer. Beatrice, yes.
Rejects the traditional categories of gender and sexuality po.
Okay. Dictionary meaning yun, no? Okay. So, queer, pag sinabing nilang queer, ito yung kanilang, ito yung connotation niya or context niya, no? Pag queer sa kanila, no, sa LGBTQ, ito yung parang you are not yet sure, no? Hindi ka pa nag-out, kaya hindi ka pa sure kung you are really this kind of gender identity. No, kumbaga, with your gender identity, hindi ka pa sigurado, no? Kaya tinatawag siyang queer. Okay? No? Yes, Audrey, may question, Audrey.
Sir,
Miss
may ask
Audrey.
po ako. Sir, bakit po, meron po bang mga lalaking yung bading po sila dati, tapos po isang araw nagising sila, napagtanto po nila na lalaki po pala sila.
O yun, baka queer, baka those are cases of queer, no? Yeah. At first, they are not, yung identity nila, no? May confusion sila na, I thought I am a gay. And then later on, ano pala siya, no? Straight pala. Okay? Tama. Okay? Okay, to continue. So, gender identity, of course, being a woman and a man, this is also a gender identity. No? Kaya, kumbaga, nasa brain siya. No? But sometimes, or somehow, sabi ko nga, hindi naman nasa isip lang yan. No? Or maybe, in other cases, baka nasa isip lang. No? Pero, ang hirap i-explain din, no? Kasi we cannot say na kung nasa isip lang yan, pwede natin siyang baguhin, di ba? Tama ba? Will you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So kaya hindi rin kasi uh, being a gay, no, I do not know kung sorry na kung may ma-offend or something with my discussion. Kumbaga, I apologize no, in advance. No, being a gay, of course, we cannot say na iniisip mo lang yan, parang gano'n, no? Parang, hindi, iniisip mo lang yan. Kumbaga, o being a lesbian, hindi, iniisip mo lang yan. Babae ka, lalaki ka, no? Parang gano'n, no? Of course, hindi rin natin masasabi yun, no? Na gano'n talaga. Okay? Now, so, gender identity has something to do with what we call transgender, no? So pag sinabi natin transgender is an umbrella term referring to individuals whose gender identity is different from their sex assigned at birth. Ito na yung mga, kumbaga, pag sinabi natin transgender, we are referring to the LGBTQ, no? Yung lesbian, okay, bisexual, and then yung transsexual. Yung T, it's not transgender. This is transsexual. Pag sinabi natin transgender, it's what we call collective siya. No? Pag sinabi natin collective, it's not only referring to transsexual. Transgender, something to do with the LGBTQ. Okay? Para hindi tayo makonfuse, no? Or hindi kayo makonfuse na gamitin yung term. Transgender can be used to being a lesbian, a gay, a bisexual, or transsexual, or being queer, nawala yung queer. No? So, sabi nila, no, when we talk about gender identity, the proponent or the right author of this, kumbaga, yung dinidiscuss ko ngayon, si Killerman, no, papanoorin sa YouTube, may mga ano siya, no, sa TED Talk and other ano. So pag sinabi mo daw gender identity, sabi niya we more than 50 gender identity. Ganyan daw karami, no? Kumbaga there are 50 plus gender identity. Which somehow I agree also, no? Pwedeng you are a woman or female, pero feeling mo gay ka. So that's another gender identity. You are a man, lalaki ka, male, pero feeling mo, yung identity, feeling mo, ano ka, female ka. No? So that's another gender identity, tama? Or being a man, a female, feeling mo, ano ka rin, let's say, feeling mo lesbian ka. No? Okay? So I remember when I was in college, no, I am a working student, then later naging scholar. And then I served in the guidance office. No? Nagsiserve ako, nandun ako nag-work ako sa guidance office, no, in that school. And then of course, sa guidance office, parang admission siya, may dumarating, no. Then may nag-comment sa akin, sabi niya, kala ko tomboy ka, sabi niya, lesbian. Okay? No, imagine, no, I have that kind of aura, no, na may tumawag sa akin na lesbian daw ako okay, that time. Siguro dahil yung book ko hindi ganito, siguro medyo long hair and then siguro baka yung kilos no, lesbian parang gano'n. Kaya may nag-comment, hala ko tomboy ka, sabi niya. Okay? So that is a gender identity, no? Kaya nga totoo na maraming Now, so gender identity, pwede rin siyang classified as heterosexual transgender woman or homosexual transgender woman. Anong pagkakaiba ng dalawang ito? So, if you are heterosexual transgender woman, of course, yung mga biological mo nandyan, being you have male genitalia, but you identify yourself as a woman, no? Babae. And then you are attracted to men, no? So that is heterosexual transgender woman. No? While the homosexual transgender woman, same, you were born with the biological sex, meron kang male genitalia, and you identify also yourself as a woman, but here you are attracted to a woman, no? Baga ito, yung una, ito yung ano siya, no, certified gay, gay sa talaga, no? Yung pangalawa, yes, may pagka-gay siya, no, pan-Japanese, gay siya, okay? Gay siya, pero yung kanya, so yung gender identity niya, gay siya, pero yung kanyang sexual attraction, it's heterosexual, no? Kahit na, pero parang baliktad, no? Yung tingnan nyo, dito heterosexual, transgender woman, pero dito homosexual. Don't be confused, no? Ito, homosexual yung ano niya, term na ginamit, homosexual transgender woman, pero his attraction is heterosexual. Okay? So, this gender identity, kumbaga, dalawang klaseng gender identity na to, no? Then, another gender identity, of course, yung transgender na mention natin yan. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na transverse type. Ito yung mga nagko-cross-dress, no? So, cross-dresser, of course, being a woman and a male, man, pwede kang mag-cross-dress, di ba? Uh, and then, of course, that is considered another gender identity, no? So, a person, typically a man, would derive pleasure, though dito, lang talaga, in-specify na man, no, would derive pleasure from dressing clothes primarily associated with opposite sex, no? Yeah, yeah. Kasi mas obvious kasi pag man or lalaki na nag-cross dress, no? Unlike sa babae, minsan yung may mga ah, panlalaki na pwedeng suot ng mga babae na hindi naman naalata na nag-cross dress, no? Pero kasi yung society natin, meron siyang ano, di ba, stereotyping. Kaya pag yung lalaki nag-cross dress, obvious, di ba? Okay? Now, so nakailang ano na tayo? Tatlo, no? Of course, ito yung transsexual. Transsexual is a person who emotionally and psychologically feels that they belong to the opposite sex, no? So, yung ano dito, no, pinaka-ano yung SRS, no, yung transsexual. These are referring to the person who have undergone or underwent reassignment surgery, no, sexual reassignment surgery. A person who has undergone treatment in order to acquire the physical characteristic of the opposite sex. Of course, wala pa naman tayong nabalitaan na lesbian nagpalagay ng panlalaki. Usually yung mga gay sila yung nagpapaano, no. Mostly ano yan, no, yung sa ano lang, di ba? Sa breast. Madalang lang yung what we call yung SRS sila, yung sexual reassignment surgery, yung pang-ano nila, no, yung kanilang genitalia. Of course, may ganon, no. So yun, no? So this is another gender identity, yung transsexual, no? Kaya don't be confused. Transsexual are referring only to the gay person or to the gay na somehow nagpaano na sila, no? They come up with a surgery. Okay? So, and then yung kung may transgender, for the straight, tinatawag natin silang cisgender, no? Denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender correspond with their birth sex. So being cisgender is being a male or being a female, no? Or being a woman and being a man. No, those whose soji yung kanin ito are in tune with their physical presupposition according kay Anne. Okay? May question ba? Okay, before tayo mag ano dito, no? So, gender identity is also what we call yung gender identity. It can be yung collective niya, can be transgender, or it can be cisgender. Cisgender, it's something to do with being a female, or a woman, or a man. And of course, transgender, it's referring to LGBTQ. Okay? Kaya may plus plus to. LGBT, LGBTQ, plus plus plus. Kasi yung plus 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 indication na uh, transgender is not limited to LGBTQ, or yung LGBTQ is not limited only to being a lesbian, a gay, a bisexual, a transsexual, or a queer. Pwede kasi mag-combine na you are lesbian at the same time you are gay. You are a lesbian at the same time you are bi. You are lesbian, although hindi pala, you are gay and then you are transsexual. Kaya yun, no? Kaya may plus plus plus. Okay? So maybe, yes, Miss Anne-Lee, you were raising your hands. Any clarification?
Good morning po, sir.
Good morning, yes.
Meron lang po akong tanong out of curiosity. Though, yung personal opinion nyo naman po yung hihingin ko. Tingin nyo po ba, sir, yung mga LGBTQ+ po, nagiging ganun nagiging ganun po yung gender nila? Meron po bang effect yung psychological, such as yung past experience nila, yung childhood nila, ganun po?
Okay. So cases yun, no? Cases. Pag sinabi natin cases, it does not happen to everybody. Hindi siya general or hindi siya universal. Some cases, it's something to do with because he's the only male in the family. Yung mga kapatid niya, puro babae. O parang ganun, no? Kaya case lang siya. Pero hindi naman yun nangyayari sa lahat, no? So that is something to do with social cognitive, no? Kung i-explain natin sa psychology. Now, in psychoanalytic naman, parang ano siya, no? May mga cases din na they, as a child or in their past, they were abused naman. Or naging victim siya ng that kind of situation, kaya naging ganun siya. Okay? And then, meron din na cases din to, no? Case, kumbaga, hindi universal. May case din na wala namang gay sa family. And then, siguro, pwede rin naging gay siya because of the lights of fear niya, no? Mga fear, mga kaedad niya or kalaro niya, mga puro babae, something like, parang gano'n, no? Okay? So, walang exact, ano. Minsan, parang ano siya, no? In terms of neuroscience naman, may ano talaga, mayroon siyang hormone na there's a study, no, mayroon silang hormone na pambabae, parang gano'n. Okay, I hope na ano yung question mo, Envelyn, no? Okay,
Thank you po, sir.
Okay, thank you, Envelyn. Sino ba na unang nag-raise hand? Si Jamaica or Audrey? Hindi ko si maano yung ayun.
Yes, sir, si Jamaica.
Oh, actually si Alicia pala. Okay, after Alicia Jamaica, no? Alicia, yes. Miss Alicia. Alicia, you are recognized. Oh, Jamaica, yes. Baka nagka-problem si Alicia sa connection.
Hi,
Yes.
hello sir. Good morning
Yes.
po. I was just curious sir about what is the difference po between the gender role and gender identity?
Role, it's stereotype din siya. Di ba? Bakit po sinasabi yung stereotyping, no? Although ngayon, nag-change na rin, no? Kumbaga, meron na rin tayong tinatawag na gender role, change in gender role. So, gender role in a society na patriarchal, na meron tayong conventional na yung lalaki, magtatrabaho, ito yung role niya, pang lalaki. Parang yung term na lang, pang lalaki, no? And then, yung babae, pang babae. But now, in our society, ano na tayo, di ba? We are equilateral. No? Yeah, equalitarian, no? Or equalitarian society na nawawala na yung gender role na stereotype. No? Yung babae, sa bahay lang, siya lang nag-aalaga sa mga bata, siya naglalaba, nagluluto, nawawala na yun. Okay? So, identity, yung kaninang discussion natin, no? Or identity, yung pagiging LGBTQ, transgender, those are identity, no? Or pagiging lalaki or babae. No, yun, Jamaica, ganun siya. Okay, thank you, Jamaica, for that. Yes, Audrey, and ano yung ano, Miss Audrey?
Sir, ano po, tanong ko lang po, yung mga bakla po ba or tomboy, ay lahi, di ba po may mga sinasabi po nila, kaya po daw naging bakla yung isang tao. Ano daw po, kasi lahi daw po nila, ganun. Or may
Ah,
bakla daw po,
yeah,
sabi nila.
no. Yeah, yung kanina, actually, na-mention ko na sa neuroscience, no? Pwedeng, pero hindi naman hereditary talaga, no, yung pagiging gay. Pero mas mataas pa rin. Parang sa disease or sakit, no? Mataas yung magkaroon ka ng ano, no, na ng sakit na ganito if in your family, kung tinrace siya, yung genealogy niya na may ganito. Same thing with those kind of ano no identity that we have, no? Pwede siya, no? Kaya nga sabi ko hindi universal, no? No? Kaya no worry ka pa kapag in your family wala pang ano no. Pero wala namang problem, di ba? Kung may gay or lesbian sa family, basta basta yung gay still functional and then mabait siya. Minsan nga parang proud pa yung ibang parent na gay yung anak nila kasi mas may ano daw siya, may silbi as compared sa straight, no? Ano lang to, no? Of course, that is a different case. Case by case yan. Hindi naman general din yun, no? Yes, Miss Alicia, you're still raising your hands. Alicia Navarro.
Sir, good morning po. Sir, tanong ko lang, meron po bang mga bakla na nai-inlove po sa mga babae?
Yung kanina, yung discussion natin, yung homosexuality, homosexual transgender woman, parang gano'n, no? Maraming case na gano'n, no? Kumisa naman, hindi sa, so female pa rin siya, di ba? Di ba may mga cases na gay, lesbian, no? No? Sabi ko nga, parang, of course, we cannot still come out with a judgment na nasa isip lang yan, no? Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na iniisip mo lang yan, no? Pwede naman maging ano, pag iniisip mo, di ba, in our previous discussion, si Rene Descartes, di ba, yung cogito ergo sum, I think therefore I am. So kung ano iniisip mo, pwede, pero hindi. For them, we have to respect, no? Uh, na iniisip mo lang yan. Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin. Okay? Okay. So to continue. Okay, so probably, hindi na natin itatanong to kung ano yung gender expression. Kasi, eliminated na si A. Eliminated na rin si B. So, tendency, the correct answer is letter D. So, pag gender expression, it's our external display of one's gender through a combination of appearance, mga transverse type, with our disposition, kung ano yung isip natin, behavior, yung kilos natin, and other factor generally measure as a scale of being a masculine and a feminine, or masculinity and femininity. No, don't be confused with expression sa identity. No, identity is different from expression. But sometimes your identity, yung identity mo, nagiging expression mo siya. Tama? But it does not mean that they are same or similar. No, hindi sila pareho. Iba yung expression sa gender identity. Okay? So, eto yung mga tanong nyo kanina, no? Although these are theory. These are the different theoretical approach to gender, kung paano nagkakaroon ng gender identity, or when we talk about gender identity, we are referring to transgender and cisgender. Okay, una yung essentialist approaches to gender, no? This is according to the mga social psychologists, no? So, essentialist approaches to gender, sabi nila, the essentialism assert that innate and fixed differences between the two sexes shape gender behavior. Ito, rene-regard nila or kino-consider niya yung tinatawag nating genetic, no? Or nasa hormone or genes, no? So ito daw yung dahilan, no, kung bakit nagkakaroon ng or nagsishape ng gender behavior. Sabi mo nga kanina, there's a study na they have hormone, which something to do that hormone found in the women or woman, no, or sa babae, no. Now, in the essentialist approach, it assumed that male and female differences are biologically determined part of human nature. Tama naman to, kanina diniscuss na natin yan, no. Essentialist also accounts of genders center on hormonal. Ito yung kanilang perspective, no, genetic and even evolutionary factor to explain the differences between sexes in psychological and social phenomena. Parang tatanong natin ngayon sa sarili natin, no? Nung bang prehistoric, no? Of course, pag sinabi natin prehistoric, parang yung tao, hindi pa tao, no? Or what we call in the ancient time ba, meron ng gay or lesbian? Parang, no? Siyempre, meron na, no? It's a matter of what we call, nakatago, no? Ewan ko sa Korea, no, kung they are open already with this, no? Pero parang meron na rin, no? Parang inadapt na rin nila. Pero before, Korea is very conservative as a society. Parang hindi accepted na you are gay or you are lesbian, no? I do not know now, no? Kasi in our one time in graduate school, no, sa masteral, may Korean akong kaklase, no, lalaki. So siguro sa community nila or in the place kung saan sa lumaki, walang ganon, no. Minsan yung mga ano niya, no, approach nakakatawa, no. Kasi may kaklase kami na friend ko gay, gay siya, and then tinanong niya, sabi niya, do you have girlfriend? Sabi ng ganon, no. So because he is not aware, is Korean na gay yung kausap niya, no. Pero yun, natawa ako kasi because of the in the society na lumaki siya, walang ganon. And then one time, may teacher kami na from Ateneo or UP, about Ateneo and UP siya, in social psychology naman, lesbian siya. This Korean na kaklase namin, confuse siya. Sabi niya, tinanong niya ako, is our professor is man? Something like that, no? Kasi nga, wala siyang konsepto, wala siyang idea with what we call with this gender identity. I do not know ngayon, no, kung ganyan pa rin conservative yung what we call Korea, no? So that is based only on that certain case, no? Okay? Sinishare ko lang siya sa inyo para maging aware lang, no? In other society, I think in the Middle East, hindi pa ganyan, I do not know, I'm not sure, no? So, yun, no? Ngayon nga, hindi tayo sure kung yung Korea, ganyan pa rin, no? Okay? So, that's referring to the essentialist, no? For the essentialist, it's biologically determined, no? Now, for the socialization approach to gender, ito yung explanation nila, no? Socialization approaches or perspective postulate that children are not innately gendered. Kumbaga, wala tayong gender, no? Kumbaga, pagkasilang mo, and then later on, abang lumalaki ka, parang madedevelop siya. Sabi nga nila, so yung bata raw, or they rather learn gender behavior from their environment, tama, through a variety of process, including modeling, imitation, or gender-specific application, yung sinabi kanina, social learning, no? Social cognitive, application of reward and punishment, or the intrapsychic process facilitated by parenting process, no? Ito, may cases din, no? Kaya siya naging gay, kasi si nanay, gusto niya magkaanak na babae. May mga cases na gano'n, no? Si nanay, gusto niya, dahil puro, yung panganay, lalaki, sumunod, lalaki, and then lalaki din, and then yung bunso, lalaki din. Now, si bunso, gusto ni nanay mag-anak ng babae, ayun, dinadamitan yung pambabae, o kaya parang pag kumikilos siyang parang babae, reward niya. So, it's a learned behavior, no? For the socialization approaches to gender, so the gender that we have, no, yung na-acquire natin, is something to do of what we call yung one, it's related to parenting practices or style, or it has something to do with conditioning, no? Yung operant na reward siya, no? It was rewarded. Although some gay no? Ito, hindi effective, no? Hindi, no? Kasi may mga cases, ewan ko ngayon kung nangyayari pa rin yan, no? In the traditional society, kapag gay ka, sigurado may ano yan, may violence na nangyari, no? Either binugbog siya ng tatay niya o kaya ng kapatid na lalaki dahil ayaw nilang magkaroon. It's a shame in the society or in the family, no? Pero hindi naman nangyayari, no? Kumbaga, it's not an explanation for that, no? So gender differences are a result of social and cultural. Ito yung kanilang ano, no? Social and cultural forces. Social environment, ito yung pinakaano nila, no? Is regarded as a strong force that influence our gender beliefs, expectation, which dictates how a being a male or a females, no, should think, feel, and behave. Okay? So, yung palang tanong nyo kanina, may kasagutan, no, yung mga theoretical approach. No, ayan siya, no? Okay? So, nakadalawa na tayo, no? I think apat lang po. So another approach that can explain about gender is the social constructionist approaches to gender. Social constructionism argues that our understanding of the world and each other is socially constructed in our interaction. Ito kino-consider ng social interactions, no? Particularly in the use of language. Okay? Halimbawa, narinig niyo ko, kumusta na sa'yo? Jayus sa kayo ba dyan, no? So, I'm using gay language, no? So, pag, let's say, nasanay ako doon, pero hindi ako gay, pero minsan, dahil narinig nila, I speak that language, so parang ano na, I was identified as being one of them, di ba? Okay? So, social constructionists, no, also view gender as created through our social interaction. Ito lang naman yung ano niya, no? Tama rin naman to. Pero in some cases, no? Halimbawa, male ka, pero majority sa mga friend mo are gay. O yung mga kaibigan mo talaga, gay sila. No? So probably being a male, minsan ma-identify ka as one of them, di ba? Being a gay, no? And sometimes yung gender mo, na-adapt mo sila. Pero your sexual attraction, hindi, no? What do I mean, no? Male ako, this is referring to social constructions, no? Male ako, pero yung mga kaibigan ko, dahil mga gay sila, and then may cases na gumaganon din ako, ganyan, and then I use also the language na ganito. Then for others, they see me as a gay. Pero yung sexual attraction ko, hindi sa homosexuality, but heterosexuality siya. No? Okay? So, social constructionists, they just believe, no, kumbaga yung gender natin, na-develop or na-adapt natin with social interaction, no? So sabi nga, through interaction, we create the meaning of gender and negotiate its particular interpretation. Tama naman, no? Okay, kaya nga, no? So moving on, now for the structuralist approach to gender, so structuralist approach conceptualize gender as a form of social structure. Ito naman yung society, no? For the basis of the systemic allocation of resources. Minsan may kaugnayan din to, no? Systemic allocation of resources. Parang naalala ko to, no? Dahil siguro may economic crisis when I graduated in college, that was in 2001. The president at that time was Joseph Eresito Estrada. Kumbaga, ang hirap ng work. Yung Clark, parang ano siya, kapag pumunta ka sa Clark, parang ano siya, tawag dito, yung abandoned. Yung before era kasi kay Ramos, napaka-ano ng Clark, napaka-lively. And then nung time ni Joseph Estrada, yung Clark parang ano siya, tawag natin yun, yung parang dead, you help me to yung parang walang tao, walang buhay.
Ghost town
Ghost town,
po.
sir.
Yes, ghost town. Yes, sorry. Yeah. Dead kasi naisip ko. Yes, parang ghost town siya. Ewan ko kung pinanganak na ba kayo ng 2001?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
At
sir.
pinanganak. So, baby pa lang siguro kayo
Opo.
nun, no? Yes. So, probably kayo aware. Kung, kasi, when I'm studying college, pumunta kami ng Clark, eto siya, na buhay siya. Then, gumraduate ako 2001, and then bumalik ako sa Clark to find a job. And then para yung nga, goes down. Ano nangyari? No? Parang gano'n. Pero ngayon, of course, buhay na siya. So, in a social structuralist, parang ire-relate ko lang yung parang experience ko. No? Kasi nakikita ko, mas nakaka-hire yung mga babae at mga gay. No? Parang sinasabi ko sa sarili ko, mag-gay na lang kaya ako para ma-hire ako. Parang gano'n. Okay? So, ito parang yun, yung systemic allocation of resources. No? So in a structural approach to gender, examine the gender distribution of resources in a social institution from small groups such as family to a large organization to a society itself. No. Likewise, it looks at how these resources shape gender. Tama, no? Behaviors such as the differences between a woman and a man are attributed to the differential access of men and women to material, and social resources, no? Sorry, balik natin. So gaya ng sinabi ko, dahil nga nakikita ko parang kasi I'm a psychology graduate and yung mga HR prepare nila parang babae, no? And then or mga sometimes gay. Kaya sabi ko, mag-gay na lang kaya ako parang gano'n para ma-hire lang ako, no? Parang gano'n lang, no? It's just something to explain yung structuralist approach. Okay? So, yun, no? Siguro hindi kayo makapaniwala na nagmukhang ghost town yung Clark, no? Yung panahon ni ERAP. Totoo. The company, they closed their siguro isa parang boycott, no? Or parang ano nila kay ERAP, no? Reaction, no? Pero ngayon nag-change na, no? Kasi dati nag-ano yan, kung sino yung presidente, the investors, nag-ano sila. Minsan umaalis sila dahil ayaw nila, no? Kung sino yung presidente ng isang bansa. So that happened, nangyari yan nung panahon ni ERAP, no? So kaya yung dating buhay, hindi pa, may, yung ano lang sa Clark noon, yung Parkson, Pure Gold, and then wala pang masyadong ano noon, wala pang masyadong BDO, no? Ay BDO ba yung mga call center agents, no? Kaya wala pang masyadong BPO, wala pang masyadong gano'n, no? Ang nandun pa lang yung American Online na wala na ngayon, and then yung Cyber City. Sila lang ang nag-survive ng mga company during the time of the ERAP, no? Pagka sila lang yung nag-retain. Even Parkson na dating masaya, and then naging ganito. Same thing with Pure Gold na dating ano siya, and then nag-ganyan siya, no? I'm just sharing that, no? Kasi parang ang hirap maghanap. That's why yung na-force ako magtrabaho sa Manila, no? Kasi mahirap yung work dito sa Pinas that time, no? And then I also came up to work abroad, no? Okay, now, so we have gender identity. Now we're moving to gender expression, no? So gender expression is being feminine or masculine. Sometimes our gender expression has something to do with gender norms, no? Iba pa yung gender norms sa role. Pag sinabi natin norms, no? These are referring to specific practices, no, or behavior that can be found in a specific society, no? Baga, may kanya-kanyang norms yung halimbawa sa Pilipinas, may norms tayo, no? Sa Amerika iba yung norms, no? So gender norms is a culturally defined set of roles, pumapasok yung gender roles, responsibilities, rights, entitlements, and obligation associated being a female and male, as well as the power relations, pumapasok din yan nung authoritarian, no, relation between among women, men, boys, and girls, no? Okay? Bago tayo dito. So, before I will move or shift our discussion, may question ba for clarification? Yes?
Wala po.
Okay, thank you, Shaira. So now, to explain how we develop yung sexuality natin, ito walang kinalaman yung pagiging gay or LGBTQ. No? Yung theory ni Freud, it has something to do with kung kailan nagmamature yung sexuality natin. No? And then before it matured, it came up with the different stages. So according to Sigmund Freud, of course, aware na kayo in our previous discussions, si Sigmund Freud, siya yung nag-emphasize ng psychoanalytic, psychoanalysis, wherein our self is something to do with the unconscious, no? And the id ego and the super ego, no? Inaano ko lang, rinerecall ko lang sa inyo yun. So, Freud, no, with its psychosexual theory, sabi niya, no, meron siyang 5 stages. We have the oral na edad, birth to 18 months, then the anal stage, 18 months to 3 years old, and then the phallic stage, 3 years old to 6 years old, and then the latency stage, 6 years old to adolescence, and then yung genital to adolescence to adulthood, no? Now, in the oral stage, no, kasi yung kanyang psychosexual theory, hindi lang siya about sexuality or the maturity of or sexual maturity, no? It also something to do with certain personality development, no? Or something to do with uh, yung pagkakaroon ng identity or personality, no? In the oral stage, sabi niya, yung bata o hindi pala, yung baby, birth to 18 months, nakakakuha siya or yung kanyang interest is yung oral gratification. O kaya yung pleasure na nakukuha, yung tinatawag nating erogenous zone, no? Easy. No? Erogenous zone niya is nakukuha niya dito sa sucking, eating, and mouthing, and even biting, no? So kapag na-fulfill niya yan, walang mangyayari na tinatawag niya fixation, no? Kasi from here, meron pang nagkakaroon ng tinatawag niya fixation. Later, I will explain this fixation, no? Okay? So in the anal state, yung gratification daw, o gratification from expelling and withholding feces, yung pagpupupo, nakakuha siya ng, doon ay yung kanyang erogenous zone, yung bata, no? 18 months to 3 years old, coming to the term to societal controls relating to toilet training. And then, sabi niya, kung yung pagto-toilet training, although sa Pilipinas, hindi naman tayo nagto-toilet training, it has something to do with personality also, no? Later, explain ko rin yan, no? In the phallic stage, sabi niya, interest in genital, coming to the term nagkakaroon daw ng Oedipal conflict, no? Leading to the identification with same-sex parent. Dito nagkakaroon, no, na nadidiscover mo na babae ka, lalaki ka, no? And then, bakit ikaw wala ka, babae ka, bakit hindi ka kapareho sa father mo? Parang yun. Lalaki ka, bakit hindi ka pareho sa mother mo? Something like that, no? And to the point na yung lalaki, sa kanya lalaki lang, no? Naka-experience siya ng Oedipal conflict or Oedipus complex. Later, we'll explain. Sa latency, dito sabi niya, yung sexual concern largely unimportant kasi parang walang nangyayari na nagiging dormant. No? And then sa genital naman, dito daw nagiging active na, no? The emergence of sexual interest and establishment of mature sexual relationship. Now, so yung mga fixation na sinasabi ko kanina, no? So, during the oral stage, kapag hindi na-gratify or yung needs or yung pleasure, yung tinatawag yung erogenous zone, magkakaroon ka daw ng oral fixation. Mangyayari na to pag lumaki ka na. Kaya yung iba, they lead to smoking, drinking, and even overeating. Yung parang term natin, kapag na-deprive ka in this stage, no? Ito yung fixation mo. Ibig sabihin, yung baby that time, hindi na masyadong nabigay or na-fulfill yung kanyang erogenous zone, yung kanyang pleasure, something like yung sa drinking, eating, writing, and so on. Kaya, kumbaga, kung i-accept natin yung theory nito, no? May, di ba yung pagta-thumbs up, ay thumbs sucking, no? It's a natural reflection, no, sa baby. So, kung hindi mo inallow yon na mangyari in that stage, sinupress mo na kaagad, no? Hindi pa man siya nakapag thumb sucking, no, yung baby. Sinupress mo na kaagad. So, tendency, pag lumaki yan, magta-thumb sucking siya. Okay? May nakita ba kayo na matanda na nagta-thumb sucking pa siya? I only explain na nung baby siya, yes, Audrey, yes. So, Audrey?
Meron po akong kakilalang
Oo.
nagkakaroon pa rin ng ganun.
Yun, yung explanation doon, dahil nga nung baby siya, agad-agad sinuppress na yung ano niya, no? And then yung iba nga ano, medyo brutal pa yung pag-ano nila, no? Ano alam niyo ba yung may mga cases na dahil gusto nilang paalis sa baby na nagtamsakin siya o niya, nilalagyan nila CD yung ano, tapos pag ano, hindi ba brutal yun, no? Hindi maganda. Kumbaga, it's a negative experience that can lead into a negative no behavior. Now, sinasabi niyang toilet training, no? Nagkakaroon ng anal fixation, no? Ito, pag sobra daw conservative or masyadong mahigpit yung parenting in terms of toilet training, no? Sa mahigpit yung pagkapapaano niya sa baby, masyadong malinis, sobrang ano siya, let's say sabihin natin na masyado siyang perfectionist. So, madedevelop yung tinatawag nating anal retentiveness, which somehow parang very similar niya sa COD. Ay, sorry, but COD na sa OCD. Kaya pala, ano ba yung COD? Ano pala yung COD na? OCD. Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. Sorry, but COD. Okay? OCD. Yung anal retentive. Similar yung personality niya, no? Pag lumaki siya, perfectionist siya, very malinis, buri talaga, no? Gusto niya organize. Kabaligtaran naman yan, yung anal impulsiveness. Yung sa anal impulsiveness naman, ano siya, parang ano siya, no, disorganized, kumbaga ano, yung tinatawag nating ano, no, burara, gano'n, no? So, may kaugnayan yon sa kanyang toilet training. So, personality, no? It can lead into this anal retentiveness and anal impulsiveness. Now, a while ago, yung sa phallic state, pag sinabi natin Oedipus complex, ito yung case nung bata at this age, no? Parang very attracted siya sa kanyang nanay, no? And then see its father as its rival. Parang inano lang yan kay Oedipus Rex, no? Yung kwento ng sa Greek mythology, di ba? Kung alam niyo yung kwento ni Oedipus, there's also parang prophecy, no? Or parang may ano sa kanya na papatayin niya yung father niya, no? And then to avoid that, parang pinaano siya, no? Pinalaki siya from the other town. And then later on, bumalik siya. Eh, nangyari nga. Then naging wife niya, parang sa kanyang mother, parang ganun, no? Of course, this is the term na Oedipal conflict. Ito yung struggle ng lalaki, no? Kay Sigmund Freud yan, no? Na yung batang lalaki, parang nagkakaroon siya ng struggle na parang nakikita na niya yung father niya as its competitor or kaagaw niya sa attention or sa care ng nanay, no? And then si Carl Jung, na another psychoanalyst din, no, o psychodynamic psychologist, inintroduce niya na hindi lang yung lalaki yung nagkakaroon ng conflict, no, in this stage. Inadapt niya si Electra naman. Electra complex, no? Si Electra, ano din, no, character din siya sa Greek mythology na parang very attracted siya sa father niya, no? Nako-confuse na ako niyan kung ang tatay na ba niya si Menelaus or si Agamemnon, no? Menelaus ba or na-confuse na ako, no? Pero with those two, no? Pero yung kwento niya, galit na galit si Electra sa mother niya, no? Kasi si Electra to, no? I'm referring to Electra kasi yung mother niya she attempted to kill its father, no? Si Agamemnon ba o Menelaus ay magkapatid kasi yun, no? Ay hindi ko ma-recall, no? Okay? Yun, no? Now, in the latter stage, of course, this is not a fixation, no? Parang characteristic. Pero in the adolescent stage daw, yung maturity of sexual relationship, no? Maturity of sexual relationship, it happened, no? Dito in the genital stage, minention din niya, no? Halimbawa, parang social learning, no? Kung yung in this stage, hindi maganda yung experience mo, you have negative experience, no? With regard to sexual relationship. When we say sexual relationship, yung on the opposite sex or maybe kahit in the opposite sex, of course, the time of so yung sexual, hindi negative yung ano mo, relationship mo, pwedeng mag-lead siya into negative relationship. Ito, dito niya inano na nagkakaroon ng infidelity or what we call yung nagkakaroon ng hindi magandang relationship between the couple or something like that. No? Okay? So yun ang psychosexual theory ni Sigmund Freud. Now, let's proceed to gender role. Kanina tinanong ni yung Jamaica. No? Kung anong pagkakaiba ng gender role sa identity. So, pag sinabi natin role, yan, nakikita mo, yung ngayon hindi na, no? Ito yung mga, ito na ngayon, no? This is unconventional. Kasi si tatay, ano na siya ngayon, no? Si tatay, siya na si nanay. Si nanay, siya na si tatay, no? This is unconventional. Unlike in the conventional society, hindi, no? Si tatay, si tatay. Si nanay, si nanay. No? Si tanay, siya dapat nag-aalaga sa bata, nasa bahay, siya naglalaba, and so on. No? But now, hindi na. No? Okay. Now, gender role, it's simply referred to the sets of prescription for behavior related to sex and gender, or what a behavior are appropriate for a person holding a particular position with a particular social context. Sabi ko nga, may pagka, yung role before, it has something to do with stereotyping. No? May pagka-stereotype. No? Stereotype because of the norm in the society, no? Yung konseptong panlalaki, pambabae, no? Okay? Dati yung lalaki, hindi siya pwedeng magsuot ng pink. Kapag nagsuot ka ng pink, dahil nga yung society bias siya or may stereotyping siya, agad-agad sasabihin nila, gay ka. Pero ngayon hindi na, no? So, gender role has something to do with cultural expectation, no, about the attitudes, action, and personality traits being a woman and a man, no, parang gano'n. Kapag lalaki, tough, strong, pag babae, yakin, ganyan, mga, ano yan, no, those are stereotyping. So, sabi ko nga, mayroon tayong stereotyping, no. Gender stereotypes are strongly held and over-generalized beliefs, no, about the characteristic of being a woman and a man, including their physical characteristic, typical behaviors, occupational position, or personality trait. Halimbawa, parang in our society, normal lang na nakakakita ka ng lalaki na walang pantaas. Pero it's shocking kapag nakita mo yung babae walang pantaas. No? Kasi nga, hindi yon ang nakagisnan natin or nakasanayan. No? That is something to do with stereotype. No, parang bakit si babae hindi pwedeng gawin yung ginagawa ni lalaki, parang gano'n, no? Or another stereotyping, bakit yung lalaki siya lang yung pwedeng manligaw, bakit yung babae hindi manliligaw, gano'n, no? Those are stereotyping. Okay, so what are the gender stereotypes that we hold and manifest in our daily lives? Marami pa rin, di ba? Ano-ano yung mga napapansin nyo na stereotype na parang sa palagay niyo hindi naman dapat ganito? Anyone in the class kung may mga certain experience kayo na sa palagay niyo this is stereotyping? Yes, Miss Erilyn Princess.
Hindi ko naman po siya experience, sir. Kaso napapansin ko lang po, sir, is that considered po kapag, di ba po yung mga, kunyari po yung mga babae po, lalaki po lahat ng mga kaibigan nila. Madalas po, di ba, merong thinking yung mga tao na kapag lalaki yung mga kaibigan ng mga babae, ano po sila? Yung word na yun, sir.
I get that word, no? Parang, yeah, I agree, no? Yung society natin kasi, ano siya, judgmental, no? Tama ka, tama, no? Yes, Shane, thank you for that, Erilyn. Tama, that is a gender stereotyping, no? Kumbaga, pag babae ka, hindi ka pwedeng magbarkada, ang mga barkada mo, lalaki, dapat babae ka, ang mga barkada mo, kaibigan mo, babae, parang ganun, no? Kung lalaking mga barkada mo, parang ano pa, no? Doon, no? Okay? Shane, yes, Shane.
Sir, yung ano lang, yung napansin ko lang din po, yung yung mga gawain po ng mga lalaki, iniisip po ng mga lalaki na sila lang kayang makagawa. Pero iniisip
Yeah.
nila mahina yung mga babae, sir.
Yes, yun naman may pagkaano doon, no? Maliban sa tinatawag natin gender stereotyping, that's a certain characteristic naman at sinasabi natin mga chauvinist, no? That's something to do with chauvinism, no? Chauvinist. Yung mga lalaki, they regarded women or woman as being weak or they're are not comparable with them, no? Tama, tama ang sumita, no? Kahit sa family minsan nangyayari yan, no? Yes, Miss Audrey.
Sir, napapansin ko po yung mga lalaki pong, di ba po, minsan gumagawa po ng mga gawaing bahay or inuutusan po ng mabalengke, gano'n. Tapos ano po, yung iba pong babae or ibang lalaki na sinasabihan po nila yung mga ganun lalaki na under daw po.
Yeah. Particularly kapag couple, no? Pero ngayon, nawawala na rin yung concept ng ganun, no? Minsan, yun ego, no? Something to do with the ego of men, no? Kirk, may gusto kang i-share?
Pag daw po ano sir, kapag nagsha-share yung mga lalaki ng feelings nila, bading na daw po sila agad.
Kapag,
Nagsha-share po ng mga feelings, yung parang siyempre
ah,
nahihirapan sir.
okay. Parang nawawala yung pagiging ano nila, no? Yung pagiging masculine, no?
Yes po.
Yung machismo, na tawag natin, no? Okay, tama ka. Tama. Parang yung konsepto pa rin, no? Men, do not cry, parang ganun, or do not cry, no? Parang ganun. Yes, Mr. Joshua.
Sir, bakit sa panahon ngayon is laging babae yung tama? Tama ba yun, sir?
Yeah, nasobrahan naman yung society ngayon, no? Nasobrahan yung society na parang pinarandam naman na yung palaging privilege or right, pati yung mga batas natin, they only favor the woman, no? Or pambabae, no? Tama. May, although hindi naman, no? Kumbaga, parang nasobrahan lang yung protection. Ano ba? Yung vowsy. When we refer to vowsy, that is referring to a law wherein something to the violence against women and children, or then naging vow na lang siya, no? Wala namang wala naman BAM, no? Violence against men, wala naman. Pero may mga lalaki rin na somehow they were abused or na-abused din, no? And then, yung single parent, parang pambabae din yun, no? Kumbaga, yung maybe we can say this is more of just siguro than equality, no? Hindi naman natin masasabi, parang tingin lang natin na sobrahan, pero yun pala yung parang just or something na nararapat, no? Okay? I hope ganun yung mangyayari, yun talaga yung no? Any other comment? Joshua, no? Okay, good observation. Pero hindi Joshua, hindi naman nasobrahan yung society. Pero pag minsan napapansin natin parang yung favor, it's always for the female because dahil nga sila yung weak, no? Or they are always the victim of the society, no? Totoo naman.
Yes, sir. Tama sila, sir.
Okay. So moving on. Pero good question, no? Okay, I have video here pero mukhang hindi nag-work. Ito yung parang stereotyping, no? Siguro kung hindi nag-work itong video nito, tama hindi siya. Ano na lang. So, pag sinabi natin stereotype, it's a concept held about a person or group of people that's based on superficial or irrelevant characteristic. Alam na natin, no, pag stereotype may pagkano yan, no? Prejudice o kaya bias, no? Or minsan, yung stereotype na yan, parang nakagisnan. Parang it is something to do also with the norm, no? Kasi yan talaga yung yung gender norm, no? Or norms. Okay? So gender stereotype is a concept held about a person or group of people that is based on being a female or being a male, no? Parang simple, simple lang. Before, kapag engineer ka, yung course, yung pwede lang mag-engineer, lalaki. Ang magna-nurse lang, babae, no? That's a gender stereotype, no? Okay, now, from gender stereotype, of course, nagkaroon din ng gender discrimination, no? Gender discrimination naman, ito ina-attribute yan sa mga rights ng mga LGBTQ, no? Kapag, halimbawa, binubuli sila sa society, of course, that's bullying naman, no? Or something na they were discriminated because of their gender, tinatawag natin yun na gender discrimination or genderism, no? Yung mga LGBT. Of course, sexism is different, no? Sexism or sexual discrimination is a prejudice about being a male or a female leading to unequal treatment. Ngayon, yung kaninang senior ni ah, may pagka-sexism ba yun, no? Yung bakit parang ang favor or yung puro sa mga babae, no? Pero hindi naman, no? So, sexism kapag na-discriminate ka dahil lalaki ka o dahil babae ka, not the LGBTQ. This is gender, ano naman to, no? Genderism or gender discrimination, no? And then, of course, in a certain society naman, kahit na yung siya, sexual discrimination siya or sexism siya, and then inaccept siya ng society, tinatawag natin yun na benevolent sexism, no? Pag sinabi natin benevolent sexism, acceptance of positive stereotypes of being males and females that lead to unequal treatment, no? Halimbawa, in some state of United States, no, in some state of America, mas mataas yung sahod ng lalaki sa babae. Pero they accept that. So we call that one as benevolent sexism. Okay? We call that benevolent sexism. No? Sa atin, in our society, meron pa rin, no? Parang sa family, di ba? Sa family, panganay, babae, no? Pangalawa, lalaki. So, sa house chores, may ano pa rin, no? Sasabihin natin, this is benevolent sexism. Yung naglalaba lang, si ate. Si kuya, hindi. Diba? So, that is benevolent sexism, no? Ibig sabihin, tinanggap kahit na may pagka-discrimination siya. Okay? Like the ceiling effect, yung sinabi kanina. We call that a ceiling effect. Ceiling effect wherein there is an equal treatment between being a male and female in terms of what we call in the corporate world or in certain no? Baga, in some state of the United America, hindi pwedeng maging manager yung babae, kaya manager lalaki, parang gano'n, no? So that is benevolent sexism. Okay? So yung kanina yung sinasabi natin ng chauvinism, no? O chauvinist, no? Yung chauvinism naman, ano siya, no? This is also a certain, sa lalaki to, no? Yung lalaki, parang yung kanina, no? Mababa yung tingin niya sa babae or tingin niya, hindi niya kapareho yung babae. No? Tinitreat niya na weak, tinitreat niya na hindi hindi sila pareho. So that is being chauvinist. No? Parang si, no? Former president natin, no? Si Pangulong Duterte, medyo may pagkaano siya sa babae, no? So that is chauvinism. Okay? Moving on. Or before, may katanungan ba? Clarification? Questions? Yes, Miss Evelyn.
Good morning, sir. Puro na lang ako tanong, sir. Sir?
Hindi, okay lang yan. Maganda nga yan eh.
Considered po bang gender discrimination kapag po, di ba sir, may mga case scenario po kasi na kapag nahaharas or worse po, nare-rape yung mga lalaki sometimes or mostly po hindi po sila pinaniniwalaan kasi nga daw po lalaki sila, ang lakas nila, paano sila ma-rape, paano sila mahaharas, ganun po.
Yun naman has something to do with the society that we have, no? Yung parang, oo, may nangyaring sexism or actually hindi na discrimination yung nangyari. That is already a sexual violence na yon, no? That is already sexual violence. Minsan, yung society dahil sa stereotyping na yung gamitin natin, yung stereotyping na hindi pwedeng ma-rape yung lalaki dahil lalaki siya, no? Pero may mga cases, no? Yung ganon, no? Pero madalang lang, very rare, okay? Kaya yon, thank you for sharing that, no? Parang hindi totoo, no? Parang gawa-gawa lang, no? O parang binugbog ako ng asawa ko, lalaki, no? Walang magsasalitang lalaki na binugbog siya ng asawa niya na babae dahil sa ego niya, no? Yung kanyang ego, kahit na binugbog siya, hindi pa rin niya isasabihin. Same thing naman, may mga babaeng ganun, no? tinatago nila, no? Pero ngayon hindi na, no? Because they know their rights, no? Sigurado pag may, halimbawa, in your generation, nangyari sa inyo yan, agad-agad, I think you will, you will demand for what called this one, annulment or separation, no? Yes, Miss Jamaica. Ngayon.
Sir, hello po, good morning. Nakalimutan ko pong i-ask kanina about po sa psychosexual theory development. Di ba po nabanggit po si Sigmund Freud sa the diverse view of the self? Yung tanong ko sir is about po sa psychosexual, papasok di po ba doon yung ID, ego, and superego?
Yung yung speed, super ego, that's another ano yan. Hindi siya sa psychosexual. Yung theory of psychosexual niya, it's nakapokus din siya sa mga certain identity or yung sexual maturity or sexual interest. No, yung previous discussion natin is something to do with personality o yung self natin. No? Yung id, ego, and super ego. Pero pwede natin siyang gamitin to explain, no? Yung id, something to do with pleasure. Kasi umiikot yung theory ni Freud, may pagka-hedonism siya, no? Parang inadapt niya yung philosophy ni hedonistic philosophy, cannot recall now, no? Pero yun, no, it's something to do with hedonism. Yung something to do with pleasure, no? Of course, it's not only pleasure, but also the negative experiences or the unconscious. Okay, pwede rin gamitin, pero hindi siya. Okay? Thank you for that, Mayor Junita. Meron pa ba? Meron pa bang gusto i-clarify? Si Epictetus, no? Siya yung sa philosopher with something to do with everything, something to do with pleasure lang, no? Epictetus. Yes, Joshua.
Sir, ask ko lang. Who is the most affected when you are in love? Your heart ba or your brain?
Ganito, no? Kung I will account or ano ko yung biological or neuroscience, so parang ano lang yan, no? Something to do, everything is in the mind. Nandito lahat yan. Yung ano natin, kumbaga parang ano lang yun, no? It's a metaphorical, no? Yung sa puso, no? Yung emotion natin dito, it's only, ano siya, kumbaga, it's more of contextual lang siya, no? Pero everything happened in our mind. Kapag nagagalit ka, dito yan. Sa in love ka, dito rin yan, no? Sa brain palagi, no? Kaya nga kaya yung heart natin, wala naman siyang, hindi naman nagpa-function about something to do with emotion. The one who is functioning about our emotion, it has something to do with our amygdala, no? Not actually the hypothalamus, no? It's something to do with the amygdala. No? Amygdala kasi, yung nagpa-process ng emotion natin. However, this amygdala, it's related to what we call the limbic system in our brain. And this limbic system, it consists of the hypothalamus, the hippocampus, and also may connection sila kasi yung hippocampus something to do with memory. Kung wala kang memory about that, hindi rin magpa-function yung ano mo, no? Okay? So, yung heart natin, more on, ano lang siya, nagre-react lang siya sa brain. Kapag na-in love ka, bumibilis yung tibok ng puso. Kasi nagbibigay ng signal yung brain mo sa heart mo na nag-ano pa, kaya gano'n. No? And then, nagpa-blast ka. So, signal came from the brain. Hope na ano ko yung Joshua. Okay? So,
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome, Joshua. Okay, so to continue, now, from the sexual self, medyo mahaba-haba yung discussion natin doon. We are now moving to moral and spiritual self. So moral, pag sinabi nating moral, it's concerned with the principle of right and wrong behavior and the goodness or badness of human character. So pag moral, it's different, something to do with ethical. Pero part siya, no? Iba pa pag sinabi natin ethical. Iba pa yung ethics, no? But ethics are moral. Ethics. Alam niyo naman kung ano yung ethics, no? Marami sa ano yan, sa Bulacan, no? Yung at saka sa kandama ng ethics. Kasi hindi naman nakakatawa. I'm referring to ethics, no? Yun, nag-gets na niyo. Okay? So moral, and then it's something to do with good and what is right and wrong, no? Pag spiritual naman, it's more of relating or affecting human spirit or soul, opposing material or physical things. So kabaligtaran, no? Kumbaga, yung spiritual self mo, kabaligtaran yan ng material self mo. Correct? Yung spiritual self mo, kabaligtaran yan ng material self mo. Kaya nga in the Bible, sabi, man does not live by bread alone, no? But in every word that proceeds to the mouth or something to the okay? Or something the body is weak, the spirit is strong. So, moral development. Paano ba tayo how do we develop the concept of morality? Paano tayo nagkakaroon ng idea ng tama at mali? So, Lawrence Kohlberg adapted the theory of John Piaget, yung kanyang cognitive development theory, and then he came up with the theory of moral development, no? So, in the moral development, when you talk about the self, the concept of being good and bad, or yung pag-embrace natin sa tama at mali. So, it came up with the three level, no? Meron siyang tinatawag na pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. In the pre-conventional, may dalawang stage, no? Stage 1 is about punishment and obedience, and then stage 2 is self-benefit and orientation, no? Self-benefit orientation. So punishment and obedience, simple lang, no? Nung bata ka, parang may stages din yan, no? Bata, and then magiging teenage, adolescent, and then adulthood, no? Sa stage 1, no, sabi lang niya, punishment and obedience, no? Punishment and reward, no, actually. So, kapag na-reward ka, ibig sabihin, tama yung behavior mo. Kapag naparusahan ka o napalo ka, no, of course, may ganito pa tayong konsepto, di ba? Ibig sabihin, mali yung ginawa mo. So, doon nagsisimula yung tama at mali. And then, something to do also yung pagsunod, no? So, pag obedient ka, no, parang mare-reward ka. Kapag hindi ka, maano ka, di ba? And then in the self-benefit orientation naman, ito yung parang yung idea na good boy ka, bad boy ka. Good girl ka, bad girl ka. Parang ganun, no? O parang yung ginagamit sa mga bata, magagalit ko kapag ganyan, no? Something like that, no? So doon nabubuo yung idea natin o konsepto ng pagkakaroon ng idea kung anong tama at mali. Now, in the conventional, something to do with the interpersonal concordance, no? Yung interpersonal concordance is something to do with the social interaction with others, no? So, minsan, you learn yung tama at mali with the approval of others, no? It's not in the family. Same thing with stage 4, law and order orientation, yun naman sa society. No? Nakikita mo kung ano ang tama at mali because of the implemented law or implemented rules in the society. However, in the post-conventional, papasok na yung social contract orientation. It is something to do also with your own logic or abstract reasoning, no? Baga, and then magkakaroon ka na ng universal ethical principle wherein ikaw na mismo yung nagpo-process kung anong tama at mali. Baga, in the theory of Lawrence Kohlberg, it has something to do with cognitive maturity. So, kapag yung tao daw nagmamature, as we grow old, our concept of morality also changes, no? Cognitive maturity. Baga, kapag naging adult ka na, nandito ka na sa stage na to, ikaw na yung nag-ano, no? Ito, kino-question mo na kung tama ba to o mali, no? Dito, hindi ka nagko-question, no? Hanggang dito, no? Parang sinusunod mo lang, no? Sinusundan mo lang. But in the post-conventional stage, this is the time na because you are a rational being, no? Somehow, you question kung ano yung tama, kung ano yung mali. And then minsan, kahit naman sa iba, alam nila mali to, pero ikaw, napapaano mo siya na tama siya. Okay? So once yung nag-mature ka, di ba? That is something to do with cognitive maturing. Kaya nga sabi ko, in-adapt niya yung kay John Piaget na theory ng cognitive development. So dito nasa ano na siya, no? Tinatawag natin a formal operational stage, no? Okay, you can jump to your chain. Okay, thank you. Moving on. Now, from moral, we have spiritual, no? So ano ba yung spiritual self natin, no? So, spiritual self, it consists of all your internal thoughts and introspection about values and moral standard. Kumbaga, part ng spiritual self natin yung values natin and yung morality natin, no? It's the essence of who you think you are, no? Ito yung pinaka-essence natin, no? Kumbaga, ito yung pinaka-highest self natin, no? I consider this as our highest self, no? Spiritual. It's a mixture of spiritual beliefs, your sense of who you are in relationship to other forces in the universe, no? Being spiritual is not similar to being religious. Para ano nyo natin, although hindi ko na tinakin yung religious self natin. Di ba yung pagiging religious sa spiritual, no? Different. Hindi, kumbaga, in logic, it does not follow that if you are religious, you are spiritual. No, hindi ganun siya. No? That is non sequitur, no? It does not follow. Okay, spiritual self, when we talk about spiritual self, it has something to do with our spirituality, no? Pag sinabi natin spirituality is our endless searching for the meaning of life, no? Wherein we need to relate to something greater than ourselves. Spirituality is something to do with the quality of being concerned with human spirit or soul, opposing the material or the physical things. No? Spirituality is among the most ubiquitous and powerful forces in human life. No? Ano ba yung pagiging spiritual? How will you explain that you have spiritual self? Of course, sabi ko nga, it's different for being a religious. Yes, Miss Erin. Erin, yes, you are recognized. Miss Erin, princess.
Napindot lang po, sir. Sorry po.
Okay. Kala ko mag-share. So, paano mo masaseparate yung spiritual self mo sa material self mo, sa moral self mo? Although yung pagiging yung moral natin may kaugnayan sa spiritual self natin. How do you separate your spiritual self from other self that you? Paano mo masasabi na you are spiritual? Or you have high spirit? Okay, pwede natin gamitin yung term yung determination mo, no? That is, determination is spirituality. Later, we will elaborate pa para maintindihan to. Okay? So dito, pwedeng concept opposing the material or physical, no? Parang ganito yan, no? Nag-level up ka na. Kung dati yung pleasure or something that what give you happiness has something to do with money or material things, that's the material self, no? Kasi yun ang nakikita mo, that's your eudaimonia, no? Or your true happiness. Now, kapag spiritual self ka na, hindi na yun, no? Happiness is not tantamount to material things. So that means, tumataas na yung spiritual self mo nun. Okay? Nakita ba yung pagkakaiba ng example ko? So,
Yes po, sir.
okay, thank you, Evelyn. So, parang ano yan, no? Kung familiar kayo sa hierarchy of needs ni Maslow, no? The lowest need that we have is something to do with the biological needs. Food, clothes, shelter. Those are our biological needs, no? And then nagle-level up yan. Meron from those needs, nagkakaroon ka ng social needs, no? The need to relate with others or the sense of belongingness. From your social needs, nade-develop yung self-worth mo or self-esteem mo. Now, from your self-worth and self-esteem, the highest need na pwedeng ma-achieve yung tinatawag yung self-actualization. Self-actualization of Maslow, it's similar to our spiritual self. No? Kung ibabalikan natin yung discussion natin kay Eric Erikson, ito yung final stage niya, no? Yung, of course, hindi pa pala final stage. Nandun sa stage na generativity, no? Versus stagnation. And then later on, from generativity versus stagnation, you achieve the, what we call yung, integrity, no? Yes, yung integrity versus despair naman. Okay? So that's the spiritual self. So ano lang, pag sinabi ng spiritual, hindi sa material or di sa physical, yung needs mo. So William James, no, in our previous discussion, may tatlo siyang, di ba, remember, this is one of the empirical self of James, no? Kasi si William James, he classified the self as being the material, the social, and then the spiritual self. No? So spiritual self is our inner self or psychological self. It is comprised of our self-perceived abilities, attitudes, self-perceived abilities, attitudes, emotion, interests, values, motives, opinion, traits, and wishes. No, part yan. No? Spiritual self is more concrete and permanent. It's our subjective and most intimate self, which include our personality, core values, and conscience. Kumbaga, yung spiritual self natin, hindi sa lumalayo sa moral self natin. No? Spiritual self involves introspection, wherein we are looking inward to a deeper spiritual, moral, and intellectual question without the influence of the objective thoughts. Parang pag tinanong ka, what is happiness? No? What is happiness? What is your eudaimonia? So pag sinagot mo, happiness something to do with material things, that is not spiritual. So when you say happiness is something to do with goodness or something to do with uh, loving your uh, loving your fellow man, that is or something to do with your relationship with God, that is spiritual. Okay? Yung uh, yung bang ano, halimbawa Katoliko ka, you're a Catholic, and then you do your obligation as a Catholic. Sisimba ka every Sunday, you attend anything, something activities in the Catholic Church. Is that a spiritual self?
No, sir.
Yes, Serin. Hindi siya, no? Yes, hindi. Something that is more of a religious self. Now, kapag merong deeper meaning in what you are doing with that, no, with that kind of religious activity that you have, meron siyang deeper meaning, hindi na mo lang sa ginagawa because it's a practice. Nagiging spiritual siya. Okay? Malinaw naman, I think. Now, moral maturity and spiritual growth. No, this is a concept map on spirituality. This is my views. Kung kanina si Lawrence Goldberg, meron siyang yung kanyang tinatawag na moral development theory. Ako meron akong tinatawag na spiritual development or spiritual growth. No? Pinagsama ko yung moral maturity and spiritual growth. Kumbaga, kanina si Lawrence Goldberg, nakita niya na yung our concept of morality is related to our cognitive development or cognitive maturity. Now, in my concept about spiritual growth, no, I relate it to our moral maturity. Kaya inadapt ko rin yung mga term ito, pre-conventional spirituality, and then conventional spirituality. Kumbaga, pinalitan ko lang ng spirituality yung moral ni post-conventional morality. Both though the stages is different. No? Let me explain. In pre-conventional morality, conventional spirituality, what contribute to our spirituality is something to do with the significant others. Kumbaga, papasok dito yung social learning, no? Kung paano tayo tinuturuan ng mga magulang natin or sa family, yung practice of spirituality. Now, the practice that we have in a family, doon nagsisimula yung spiritual natin, no? Spiritual life or spiritual development. In the stage 2 naman ng pre-conventional, something to do with individualism and autonomy. So dito papasok yung dahil nga we have reasoning, we are rational being or we are rational animal. So papasok na dyan yung konsepto natin na paano natin nakikita yung pagiging spiritual, no? And ito medyo pareho din pa, no? The social orientation naman is something to do with the community that we have, no? Same thing with the social norms yung nakagisnan natin, no? And then in the social law and individual concept of spirituality, kung paano ini-implement yung batas or something to do with yung society, how it looks about what we call spirituality. Now in the stage 6, dahil mature na nga tayo, we have mature moral maturity and cognitive maturity as well. So we have logical and rational concept of spirituality. dito nagiging individual na tayo, no? Nagkakaroon na tayong iba't ibang pananaw with regard to spirituality. So ito yung moral maturity and spiritual of what we call. So it's a concept map on spirituality. So the physical self is different from the spiritual self, no? Sa physical, meron tayong ito, no? Instinct mind, maintaining function of the existence, invisible dwelling place of God, or spiritual, no? We have physical body, of course, we have spiritual body, that's our soul. Parang ano lang yan, no? Yung soul and body nila ng mga rationalists, no? Rationalism, like Socrates, Plato, and Descartes, no? Then we have the physical senses, we have the spiritual senses. Okay, now, with regard to our spiritual self, paano ba natin maano yan, no? Parang ma-improve, no? One way to develop our spiritual self, something to do with prayer. No? Prayer is considered as one of the best and powerful tools to cleanse our self, to cleanse ourselves spiritually. No? Through prayer, we communicate and express our absorption, fondness, gratitude, humbleness, intention, and modesty to God. Tama, no? Kaya tayo nag-pray because of those, no? Similarly, through prayer, our relationship to God is strengthened and our faith grow and rejuvenate. Tama, no? It is in praying where our restless and anxious spirit come and strengthen. No? So yun ang spiritual self, no? So spiritual self, we can relate it to our relationship to God. No? Pwede yun, no? And our communication or way to communicate to God is something to do with prayer. Okay? So another way to take care of our spiritual self is something to do with meditation. No? Meditation is a method or mean of relaxation. It's one of the relaxation method that make our mind relax and calm. So yung inner peace thought, no? It helps us to maintain certain order in our thoughts, and it's the best way to distress our exhausted mind from the overwhelming bits of information. No? Meditation helps us raise our vibration. No? Sabi nga, meditating for only 20 minutes a day will make us happier and keep our balance for the rest of the day. No? Listening to relaxing music can set mood, no? Our mind as well as our body and make a what we call yung sibashi, no? Yung ginagawa ko, no? Yung 18 qigong as a habit every morning will balance our body, mind, and spirit. Kasi yung ki it's Chinese ano yan, no? Energy, no? Kailangan i-balance natin yung energy natin to develop a spiritual, yung spirit, to maintain our spiritual self, no? And through meditation, no? So, for the Chinese, one way, o hindi lang sa mga Chinese, no? Yung chant naman, no? So, chant, kapag sinabi natin chant, is a monotonous repetitive song, typically an incantation or part of the ritual, no? In Christian context, this may refer to mga psalm na rin-recite, mga canticles in the Bible, any sacred text similar to yung mga Gregorian chant or song, and then yung taise, no? If you are a Catholic and then you are youth, ewan ko kung nakapag-attend na kayo ng tise or taise, no? Sa taise kasi, no, sabi nga ni Gao et al., presumably religious chanting can be regarded as both meditation siya, at the same time prayer siya, which can quieten fear and transcend the mind, no? So anyone in this class, meron bang nakapag-attend na ng taise or tise sa inyo? So parang meditation din siya or prayer. No? Meron na? Meron ba? Wala. Walang involved sa campus youth ministry natin. Youth for Christ. Meron ba sa inyo? Is anyone in this class with you for... Ayun, si Erin pala. Have you attended na yung mission activity, may activity na tinatawag na Chise or Taise? Ano lang,
Hindi po ganun yung tawag sa amin, pero ginagawa po namin to.
Hindi ka Catholic, Erin. You are?
Born again Christian po.
Yes, yes. Ano yung parang equivalent doon? Can you share with us? Kasi wala akong idea doon.
Yung ano po namin, sir, every Wednesday po, nagkakaroon po kami ng tinatawag na prayer service wherein doon sa event po na yun, wala po kaming ginagawa kundi mag-pray and then pag-usapan po yung Word of God.
Yes. Can also help, no, your spiritual self. Very good. Thank you for sharing that, Erin. How about the others? So that means walang ano dito, no, CYM, no, Catholic Youth. Sa members siya ng CYM or the Catholic Youth Ministry. Diana Rose, yes. Meron tayo sa school, kahit hindi tayo Catholic school, meron tayo. That is what is unique to MCC, no? Sa lahat ng mga local colleges, I think tayo lang yung may CYM. Yes, the one who kanina, sinitas ng kamay. You are recognized.
Wala sir, parehas lang po kanina sir, Bernard and Christian din po.
Yes, Diana Rose, no? Okay, very good for that, no? Sa ano kasi, sa yung sinasabi ko sa mga youth, usually sa mga youth nila ginagawa yun. Yung tise, you search, no, ano ka lang, you just allow yourself, no, para mag-meditate ka or contemplate. You just allow yourself to sit and then using a chant, no? Like yung Adoramus Te Domine, no? Adoramus Te Domine. It's a Latin, no? Adoramus Te Domine. We adore you. We adore you. O kaya yung Beni Sancte Spiritus. Beni Sancte Spiritus. Ganun lang. Just allow to listen to those or to sing those and then parang your mind will be quieted or nagkakaroon ka ng inner peace, no? And then you are in a place na tahimik, no? Yun ang tise. Ako na nagsimula yung tise sa isang lugar na tinatawag na tise, no, or taise. Okay? So, of course, ewan ko kung may mga ano, somehow, sa school mayroon tayong ganun. Minsan may activity na ganun. If you are a member of the CYM, no? So chant is also something to do with the mindful breathing, can induce coordination between the brain and the heart activity, and something to do with mindfulness. Later, we will elaborate what's mindfulness training, no? Found to improve our cardiac vagal balance, no? For the Buddhist naman, for the Christian, not Christian, sila they practice what we call, no, yung meditation, no? It's performed through what we call mantra or chant, no? Yung kanina parang mantra din siya, no? Yung, ano ba, sa pagmamahal, naroroon ang Diyos. Paulit-ulit mo lang sinasabi yun. Parang mantra din, no? So in a mantra, ganun ang ginagawa, no? Mantras are used as a tool to free the mind, which allow our conscious mind to relax. And through mantras, our mind state are transformed and help us to align our path with our purpose, no? Meron dito mga example, kaya lang hindi sila gumagana, no? Ito, isa sa mga mantra ng mga Buddhists, as well as the mga Buddhist monk, yung Om Mani Padme Hum, no? Parang paulit-ulit na sinasabi, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, parang gano'n, no? Is a commonly used mantra, no? This mantra connects with the embodiment of compassion. When we picture ourselves as the embodiment of compassion, we become more relaxed and we gradually reduce the fixation of our personal and physical being. Minsan kailangan natin yun. O kaya, yung meditation kahit na, minsan, yung hindi ba may term tayo, mga may nausun term, me time. Me time is a kind of meditation, no? Pag me time ako. Kumbaga, ikaw lang, no? Mag-isa ka lang, and then, me time, let's say, you travel alone, kaya you go to a certain place na tahimik, ikaw lang, yung me time, it's also a form of meditation, no? Okay? Or it's also for a way to increase our spiritual self. So, kailangan natin mag-me time, no? O, kapag ba married ka na, kailangan mag-me time ka pa rin. May cases na, pero hindi naman matagal, no? Pero pag single ka, you are pa lang, pwede ka mag-me time ng matagal, no? Okay? Ito yung tayo sa mga kaya hindi siya gumagana. No? And then, one way to increase or to take care of our spiritual self, ito, random act of kindness. No? Refer to the simple act or gesture of kindness such as helping the elderly to cross the street, as simple as that, no? Kahit di mo kilala. Showing respect to other, again, it will increase our, or it will help to take care of our spiritual self, extending our help to the indigent na nangangailangan, no? And any age or act that voluntary in nature. No? So, ibig sabihin, random act of kindness is something to do with volunteerism, no? Hindi naman kailangan material, no? Hindi naman. Kahit na, sabi ko nga, kahit na tinulungan mo lang si Lola na tumawid sa kalsada, kaya si Lola may dala-dala, tinulungan mo lang magbuhat, That is an act of kindness, no? Helping others with no expectation is a sign of good and unconditional love. Tama, no? And likewise, it raises the vibration of our body. Ang sarap ng pakiramdam, di ba? So pag naramdaman mo yon, your spiritual self is somehow, no, nade-develop siya. Random acts of kindness are some of the best way to clean our soul and make our spirit stronger. So strong spirit, weak body. But sometimes if you have a strong spirit, the body will also become strong. No? Now, mindfulness naman, no, ito yung sa psychology ngayon, no. Mindfulness madalas ito yung parang ginagamit, no, to overcome stress o kaya para ma-increase yung ano natin, no. So mindfulness is referred to as or tinatawag din natin sa psychological state of awareness, no. Refer to the mental state that can be and achieved by focusing on one's awareness of the present moment, no. Maging aware ka sa paligid mo while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feeling, thoughts, and bodily sensation used as a therapeutic technique, no? So may iba't ibang paraan, no? There are many ways on how to perform simple mindfulness, like simply focusing on something beautiful, pumunta nature tripping lang, no? That is mindfulness, no? Can bring instant relaxation as well as joy, and of course, yung inner peace natin, no? Kapag ano ka, restless, stress, na-burn out ka or you are exhausted, so kailangan mo mag-mindfulness, no? Yung me time, it's a mindfulness also, no? This can be done by mindfully observing a picture of a tree, flower, or anything aesthetic that brings instant relaxation, joy, or inner peace. Kahit pakikinig lang ng music, no? Sabi nga, no, as mentioned by Davis and Ainge, no, the benefits of mindfulness include the following, such as reduced rumination, no? So, yung like overthinking. Overthinking is rumination, yung maraming iniisip, no? So, kapag nag-mindfulness ka, marerelax ka muna, no? It also reduces stress. Of course, it boosts your working memory, and then it focusing attention, decrease emotional reactivity, no? And then greater cognitive flexibility, being proactive, and then yung relationship satisfaction, no, for couple, no, then enhance self-insight, morality, intuition, fear modulation, as well as all the function associated with the brain or the middle frontal lobe. So, yan ang benefit ng ano, mindfulness, no? So, hindi naman mahirap mag-mindfulness. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, parang me time lang yan, no? Kahit nga nasa bahay ka lang, ngayon, halimbawa ako, no, na itong ginagawa natin ngayon, later, kapag may time, kahit na nag-gardening ka lang, that is already a mindfulness, no? Kumbaga, inaano mo muna yung ano mo, sarili mo, binibigyan mo na some time na to relax, no? Kaya it's okay not to be okay, sabi nga, di ba? So, hindi rin gumagana to, no? And of course, we have our economic self, no? So pag sinabi natin economic self, of course, from economics, no? Ano ba yung economics? Studied mankind in ordinary business of life. And likewise, economic examine that part of individual and social action which is most closely connected with the attainment, use of material requisite of well-being. Actually, yung economic self natin, mas related siya sa material self, no? Kasi it involve our material needs. So, yung economic self natin, ba yung how to earn, paano, of course, part yan, no? How to work, to invest, to save. So sabi nga ni Lionel Robbins, no, an English economist, defined economics as the science which study human behavior as a relationship between the given ends and the scar means which have alternate uses, no? So in the economists, no, of the 19th, 20th centuries, no, redesigned the conventional concern of economic, which yung emphasis nila include the individual person as the consumer and producer in the human society. Kasi pag inano natin naman yan, kung how we are affected by the daily activities that we have or something to do with economic, parang nagiging psychological na siya, no? But from this economic situation, pumapasok yung mga certain issue which affected our psychological well-being, no? So this is a process, no, in the economic, no? Parang ano lang, di ba, law of demand and supply, no? in economic, no? Ito yung household, and then ito yung ano. So, sa household, yung consumer nagpa-purchase siya sa business, no? And then anong binibigay ng business? Yung, ano ba, parang ano lang, bahay, tindahan. Of course, it give goods and services. Household, it produce productive service, and then binabalik niya yung wage yung nagtatrabaho ka, no? Somehow, this cycle that we have in our society, minsan it can affect our psychological being. And the connection of this is something to do with our economic self, no? Halimbawa ngayon, prices increase. Economic yan, di ba? Now, something to do with our economic self. Lahat ng commodities tumataas. Minsan you have been affected, no? Kaya ko pa ba? Kaya ko pa bang bilhin ng mga to, no? Parang that is something to do with our economic self, no? Now, from our economic self, we have political, no? Sabi nga ni Aristotle, we are zoon politikon, no? Or we are political animal, no? Aristotle claimed that individual person are destined by their nature to live as a socio-political being, no? Sa political na to, no? This means that the individual person are political animal in which political behavior are innate. Possibility, since they are governed a natural urge to live in the company of other men. Yung ano lang to, no? Nature siya. So, it distinguishes political system by the number of person. Dito niya binuo yung mga one, few, or many ruled by other, or whether form a legitimate ruler governing in your interest, no? Yung kanyang system include yung monarchy, aristocracy, then yung tyranny, oligarchy, and democracy, no? So, even in the time of Socrates, no, rather Aristotle, meron ng political views yung tao. Parang ano lang yan, no, history. So yung one-man rule, it's ruled by one, no? It's a form of government ruled by individual person. So in our society, nag-exist pa rin yan, no? Of course, kamamatay lang ni Queen Elizabeth, no? The second, no? So yung form of government ng Great Britain, monarchy siya. It's a form of government ruled by head by a king or a queen, no? And then meron tayong tinatawag na autocracy. It's a system of government of one person with absolute power. Ito naman yung mga may mga parang yung sa kanila pwede rin gawin nating combination siya ng monarchy and autocracy, no? Although may tinatawag tayo na tyranny is ruled by one who has absolute power without legal right. Ito yung mga cases ng other country like in the Middle East, no? Saan ba yun? Afghanistan ba? Something like that, no? It may refer to also to a cruel and oppressive form of government. Now, in the time of Benito Mussolini, nauso yung tinatawag niyang fascism. This is an example of tyranny, no? It referred to the authoritarian and nationalistic political movement in Italy. Kumbaga, ruled by one man, no? More of autocracy and tyranny. And then yung kay Hitler, yung tinatawag nating Nazism, no? It referred to a political principle of National Socialist German worker or party in Germany, no? I think you are familiar with the Holocaust, okay, Adolf Hitler, no? And then may mga communism din tayo. This is associated with the idea of Karl Marx, no? About the classless society na tinatawag na anarchy. Although this is very utopian, kasi nga hindi mo naman talaga magagawang classless yung society, kumbaga pare-pareho lang, no? So in its belief, no, magkakaroon ng private ownership, no, wherein it may refer to the belief that private ownership will be abolished or mawawala, no? All work and property should be shared as community, kaya communal, no, communism. It also referred to a political theory derived from Karl Marx, advocating class war or leading to the society in which all property publicly owned and each person work and is paid according to their abilities and needs, no? Ang ganda ng idea ni Karl Marx, kaya nung naging negative, no? Parang ito yung actually dahilan bakit na si Hitler naging ganyan, no? Na-influence siya sa philosophy ni Karl Marx, no? And also the philosophy of what we call na Friedrich Nietzsche, no? Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche. Okay? I hope may idea you about that, you know? Concern, questions? So one-man rule yan, no? And then later on, government by few, no? Ruled by few is a form of government ruled by few people who are usually belong to the class of people with high social rank naman or nobility, like the aristocracy, no, it's there from the record, Stone Best, and Faith and Rule. It's a form of government which power is held by nobility or class people with social rank. The state is characterized by the rule of mobility, elite, and some European country ganito sila. No? And then we have oligarchy naman, it's derived from the Greek word oligos, few, and rule. No? It's a form of government in which the power is vested of few in a dominant class or unit. Parang ano din naman sa tribe, no? Sa oligarchy. And then government by many, dito tayo nagpo-fall. No? This is our United States and other democratic country. Ito yung form of government natin. Government by many, ruled by many. Dapat ganun siya, no? Pero hindi rin. No? It's a form of government ruled by people chosen through voting. No? It's also known as the polity, from the Greek word na politeia, citizenship, no? Or polites, or polites, citizen, and from policy. No? Democracy is derived from the Greek word demo, people, and create and rule. It's a system of government or organization in which citizen or member choose their leader in the form of voting. Meron tayong direct and indirect. So direct democracy refer to the citizens of that state that is directly noted on the law. Yung tao mismo gumagawa. While representative, ito yung mga congressman natin, refer to a people in direct participation in the affair of government through their duly elected representative. No? Kaya nga meron tayong congressman. No? Because our lawmaker in the Senate, no, we are referring to the congressman. They represent us, no, as to practice our what we call yung freedom natin, no. Okay, concern question. So yun ang political self natin, no. Political self can be associated with our leadership, no, o yung nature ng pagiging leader natin, no. Sabi nga ni Aristotle, we are zoon politikon. By nature, we are a social political animal. Okay? So ito yung end ng ano natin, kaya hindi ito. Ewan ko kung mag-play siya or maririnig ko siya. No? So to end this meeting, let us listen to this music. May sound ba in your end? Let me check.
Wala po, sir.
Wala po.
May problem, no? So this is one song in Ise, no? Yung sa pagmamahal, naroroon ang Diyos. Okay? Ewan ko ba't hindi nasi-share, no? Nagka-problem yata yung audio ko. I will skip that. So these are our references, and that's the end of our discussion. Question, concern, clarification? Okay, I will stop the recording na muna. Para hindi umabot.